I'm going to ask if I can, with you on standing by, General Teichert, to have our control room roll that video again of what that webcam from the Kennedy Center captured, the moment of that midair collision. And there it is again. And maybe you could do some play-by-play, General Teichert, on what you were just talking about. I think you were saying that the view that we're getting, the plane is coming towards the camera, the plane is coming from the south to the north, and that Black Hawk would be coming in, presumably from the east, you said, correct?
Yeah, Ashley, as I look at that, there's the one aircraft that's taking off that's up above, but the brighter light that you see is presumably the passenger aircraft that's arriving to Reagan from the south, and we're looking at it from the north. So that plane would be basically coming towards us. The smaller light that you see to the left would be to the passenger aircraft's right, or the east, and has that fairly fast vector from left to right until you see the larger flash in the collision. And again, that type of communication that would indicate what are the controllers at DCA seeing and what is being transmitted between those two aircraft is going to be very telling to understand what they knew, what they saw, and why there wasn't deconfliction provided by the controllers.
My colleague Leland Vittert has a perfect view of this from his apartment right across the Potomac. He's got a question for you, Brigadier General John Teichert. Leland, can you hear me?
General, I can. The view actually that you're looking at is from my balcony, so we've watched over the past couple of hours from when they shut down all the air traffic to the emergency response to now this eerie calm that has set in with no sirens as the police boats remain out there. General, incredible insight into what was going on in the cockpit, both of the Black Hawk and of the aircraft, the regional jet. But there's reporting that as the plane flew up the Potomac from the south towards the north, that the air traffic controllers asked the regional jet to switch runways, which would have meant it turned out to the right and would have come back over the area where the Marine One base is, and then turned into runway 33. And I'm thinking about just the amount of time that the Black Hawk would have had to respond to that of the regional jet switching runways.
I think that while they would have been told to switch runways, it's not this aggressive maneuver in a regional jet that would prompt them to reposition and be a surprise to the Black Hawk. And I think while the outside control communication will be interesting, the internal cockpit communication that we'll eventually get from these flight data recorders or black boxes is going to be extremely revealing to understand not just what the controllers were saying, but what was happening within both of those cockpits to help them to understand what they saw, what they didn't see, and what they thought was going on. But I don't think that a reposition of a runway for landing of a slow, stable regional aircraft would cause it to maneuver in a way that was aggressive and maybe would be a surprise to the Black Hawk.
We're just getting, General, just in the past 30 seconds, and obviously all of these are recorded, but there's now recordings showing conversations between the Black Hawk and DCA Tower asking if they have the regional jet in sight. So clearly the tower was understanding this. One thing that struck me just watching this response is the massive amount of resources that have poured in here. We know about the Maryland State Police, obviously DC Fire and Rescue. Just talk to us, because you all have trained for this so many times. In the 5 to 10 minutes after this crash would have occurred, how many resources can be thrown at this incident? Who would have been coming in? What's above, what's in the air, and then what's on the Potomac as well?
There would be an integrated response plan that includes assets on the ground that could be deployed out into the water and then from the air. And it also would be understood that there would be a singular commander responsible for the overall coordination of these activities. The thing that's particularly interesting about where this happened is that it is at the convergence of the state of Maryland, the state of Virginia, and the city of Washington, D.C., which could create gaps and seams, but also provides a wealth of resources.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.